being a relatively obscure Japanese game company, of course not all of NanaOn-Sha's games are going to get released outside of Japan. In fact, not all of the systems that those games are for are going to get released outside of Japan, and such is the case with Rhyme Rider Kerorican for the WonderSwan Color. Now, before we talk about the game itself, let's just quickly go over the WonderSwan Color. The original WonderSwan was released by Bandai in 1999, and the color version was released in 2000, which puts it pretty snugly between the 1998 release of the Game Boy Color and the 2001 release of the Game Boy Advance. And of course, the WonderSwan tried to be a competitor to those systems, and of course, like everything else that tried to compete with Nintendo, it failed pretty badly. But that's not to say that the WonderSwan was lacking for good software. I mean, it had a pretty impressive lineup of anime licensed games, and it had really good remakes of Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 4, which came in a really nice looking special bundle package. And of course there's Rhyme Rider Kerorican. The WonderSwan was pretty unique. As I'm sure you can see, it has two D-pads, which lets you play games horizontally and vertically. It has no backlit screen, as nothing did at the time, so you're constantly having to tilt the screen, trying to get it directly into the sun, just to be able to see anything at all what you're doing. Another thing that's not so good is that it doesn't have an audio jack. Well, you can get one, I believe it plugs in there, but it's an additional add-on for something that really should just be in the system, and that's pretty bad considering that Rhyme Rider Kerorican is, well, a rhythm game, and the quality of the on-built speakers is not the best, especially since Rhyme Rider Kerorican has pretty strange music to begin with. It doesn't help things that it doesn't sound very good when you're playing it through the system, and for a rhythmic game to say it doesn't sound very good is pretty damning before you've even plugged the damn thing in. Now let's just quickly go over the package, because this is the only WonderSwan Color game that I own, but I'm pretty sure they don't all open up like this. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So interesting that I can't even fit it all inside the frame. I mean, what was the point of it? Did they just wanted to have a cool thing where it's like, oh, she's in the frog suit, now she's not, and then the game is here, and you can open it up, and there's all sorts of, like, Japanese stuff going on here. Well, I say Japanese, but it does say, hello, my name is Hiromi, and it gives, I think, like her birthday, her blood type, her bust, waist, and hips measurements. Thanks, guys. In any case, here is the game itself. Oof, they come in these nice little cartridges here that you just slot into the console. It's pretty important when you want to play a game. And here is the instructions. Now, NanaOn-Sha games always have really cool instructions, and Rhyme Rider Kerorican is the best yet. Especially considering that I actually just bought Mass Effect 3 and it doesn't have any instructions at all. I mean, it has a manual within the game itself, but nothing on paper, which surprised and disappointed me. But Rhyme Rider Kerorican, oh boy, do we have a treat for you right here. Here is basic controls. That makes sense when you're actually playing the game. And I'll get back to it, because your instructions are on these playing cards. 1 through 10, at least. It's not a full deck, I'd just be mad. So on the front it has the characters. Like, sometimes it's just like people who don't do anything, but if you see for this dude, it says A or B and has the controls here. That means you have to press A or B if you want to get over this dude. And it's like that for all the other characters, so you have nice little reference cards almost for what you have to do in the game. And on the other side is actual step-by-step menus instruction manuals, which is very strange, very interesting, and very cool. Very pleased I am with this. It's just a really nice package for something that I really didn't expect would have something like that. I mean, it's just like a little rhythm game, like handheld, one color, budget. But no, it's really well done, really nice, lots of thought gone into it. I'm sure the story is really good too, but since I don't know a word of Japanese, I have no idea. No idea. No idea.
So how do you actually play the game, you ask? Well, it's quite similar to Vib Ribbon. You've got your main character walking along a path, an obstacle will come down and you press a specific button to get past it. And, like in Vib Ribbon, some obstacles require button combinations to overcome. And that leads to a little problem. I'm not entirely sure how I'm supposed to hold the system while I play. For the most part it's easy, but the last stage introduces the hand soap obstacle, which requires you to press a button on both D-pads at the same time. They're a rarity, even in the only stage they're present in, but it's still a pain to have to make some sort of weird claw with your hand to play. So you've got these little blue guys, a group of triangles, a purple thing swinging his arms at you.
If you get hit, it's your own fault.
A merry-go-round, a shark, and the hand soap. The shark is particularly annoying because he jumps in from off-screen, and if you're not expecting him, you'll almost certainly get hit the first time. But you can always just try to jump over him again, because Rhyme Rider Kerorican runs on a retry system. If you fail to pass an obstacle, the game will rewind and let you try again. This is actually more of a hindrance than a help, because understanding when to press the button to get past depends on the rhythm and the context of where that obstacle is. Isolating it from the previous obstacles and rewinding the rhythm do nothing to help you, and it's not uncommon to get stuck on a single obstacle over and over again because you can't figure out how to pass it, leading to a cheap death. You can't fail forever though, because you do have a life bar, which only shows up every so often. Fail too many obstacles and you fail the song. Your life bar can be replenished by picking up sweets that fly by occasionally, but sometimes they go past as you're stuck going over an obstacle. The end result is that Rhyme Rider Kerorican is pretty difficult, especially if you're trying for a high score. And since there are only 4 stages, trying for a high score is just about the only replay value you're likely to get from the game. It doesn't have quite the same appeal as the Parappa games or Vib Ribbon. With Parappa there are more stages, the chance for a cool rating, improvisation is fun to try, and the songs are catchy and memorable. In Vib Ribbon you can use whatever music you like to play. The 4 songs in Rhyme Rider Kerorican stages aren't vastly different from one another, and being purely instrumental tracks governed by the sound samples that passing obstacles make, they're not incredibly memorable. I suppose being able to play them on the go would make up for this, so long as you had the headphone jack adapter.
But hey, this is just a little portable game on a little portable system, so I should cut it some slack for not being as robust as home console releases. It's pretty fun and pretty challenging, and if you ever find yourself in possession of a Wonder Swan color, then check it out. Thanks for watching.